A video of Taylor Swift is now going viral, and it's going viral on the right side of media, you know, amongst the conservatives, and people are accusing her of grooming an entire generation. This video is getting millions and millions of views, and you're gonna see it, and if you're a Swiftie, you're gonna know exactly what song this is. I even recognize what song this was because I've heard it so many times. This is actually one of the songs from Taylor Swift that I do enjoy listening to, but I'll roll the clip for you. She's being accused of teaching young women to, quote, F the patriarchy. Okay, that's what went viral, guys, this 10-second clip. So the lyrics are, and you were tossing me the car keys, F the patriarchy, keychain on the ground, you are always skipping town, okay? And they got this clip of all the girls screaming F the patriarchy at this concert, as it's just a pivotal part of the song that a lot of people like to scream out, and they're accusing Taylor Swift of grooming an entire generation of women into hating men and wanting to destroy the patriarchy. Now let's unpack this for a little bit. First of all, let's get over the song itself. This is from a song that Taylor Swift wrote called All Too Well. Now, All Too Well came out in 2021. Y'all have had 3 years to find this song. She's been touring with this song, singing it in front of audiences far and wide all over the world. And yes, they have been screaming F the patriarchy for quite some time. I'm astounded that this 10-second clip went viral now, but that's just the nature of the internet. You get a 10-second clip and it goes viral and people don't take the time to look into the song or the lyrics or what's even going on there, and here we have Taylor Swift being accused of grooming an entire generation. And we'll talk about whether or not that's an accurate description of what Taylor Swift is doing in just a moment. But yeah, the lyrics to this song, I guess it's speculated that this song is about a relationship that she had with Jake Gyllenhaal when she was far too young to be in a relationship with Jake Gyllenhaal. I believe she was in her early 20s or turning 21 at the time. She was dating Jake Gyllenhaal, and the lyrics state, you were tossing me the car keys, his car keys presumably, and he had an F the patriarchy keychain on those car keys. So you were tossing me the car keys, F the patriarchy keychain on the ground, you were always skipping town. I more interpreted that lyric as you have a grown man who's dating a much younger woman, he's tossing the car keys at her, he's very rude to this woman, and his car keys have an F the patriarchy keychain on them. It's kind of the irony of being a man who purports to really love women and F the patriarchy and I want to protect women and I'm a good man, whilst tossing your car keys at this younger woman who you are demeaning, not only through, you know, dating her at this age and being in somewhat of what she would, I guess, call a grooming relationship, and, you know, you're just being flippant towards her. So the irony of a lot of men who claim to be these feminists but are treating women in this way. Now, of course, it's taken on many different meanings in her singing it to the crowd, and I imagine a lot of these young girls are just screaming F the patriarchy because that's like the cool thing to say these days. You know, Taylor Swift has it in her song, so we're gonna throw our middle fingers up and say F the patriarchy at this moment in the song. It makes us feel good. Taylor does it with us, and maybe it's taken on a bit of a throw it back in their face meaning as she sings this song at concerts. But my goodness, do I feel like this was blown out of proportion, that girls are singing these lyrics and screaming them back, and that she's grooming an entire generation to hate men. There are other reasons that maybe you could say, levy that accusation towards Taylor Swift. In the brief moments in her career that she's been politically active, it has been towards left-leaning causes. She has a whole documentary on Netflix where she cries in part about wanting to jump into the political sphere of things and use her influence in that way to influence this next generation and how she can do that. She's also faced a lot of criticism for apparently caring about climate change and being somewhat a part of this climate hysteria, but flying around in her private jet, I think more so than any other celebrity to date. Taylor Swift will hop in her PJ to go from Tampa to Orlando, and she don't give a F, okay, about any of that. So she's constantly found herself in hot water politically, and you could argue that she is influencing a very young generation of girls, and she takes on that influence as a pop star, and thus her political ideology largely becomes their political ideology. But is that necessarily her fault? I always have to lean on the fact that each person is their own individual. In the case of these young girls that are watching Taylor Swift, they have a personal responsibility to look into the things that they're endorsing at the hands of these, pop stars who hand it to them. And as parents, you guys have a personal responsibility when it comes to who you're exposing your child to and whether or not your child takes on that influence. And hopefully your influence as a parent is strong enough to sort of deflect the things that Taylor Swift wants to bring into your household. I don't know how much of that responsibility lies on Taylor Swift as an artist, if you guys get what I mean. Now, of course, in Taylor Swift saying F the patriarchy, there's a lot of irony, and clearly in the clip, we'll play it one more time so that you guys can see it. Okay, so clearly she has a little bit of, gesture towards F the patriarchy. You can tell in the body language it's a personal endorsement of hers towards the statement. It's kind of ironic that you have one of the largest female pop stars to ever exist screaming F the patriarchy, and I'm wondering what influence the patriarchy has really had in her life, considering since she was a teen, she's been famous. She's now a billionaire, and her sort of claim to this billionaire money is not only art, which is like a leisurely activity that now women get to do, although it's not leisurely when you're doing it at the level of being a billionaire, arguably. Where's the patriarchy and the influence of that? Also, Taylor Swift's career has largely bent towards her criticism of men, in particular men that she's dated, and writing songs about these men. So where does the patriarchy exactly influence where you're at right now as a person who's like the number one artist in a very long time? I don't know. There's other Taylor Swift songs where she really calls out the patriarchy directly. She has a song called The Man, where she talks about how much better her life would be, how much more influence she would have, how much more powerful and assertive she would be if she was a man. And again, I just don't understand. There are many, many, many men in the world. Most men in the world have less power than Taylor Swift have less of weight to swing around than Taylor Swift has far less money than Taylor Swift has far less power and influence than Taylor Swift has. So I'm not sure where the patriarchy has really impacted her in any way, shape, or form. And interestingly enough, this is a conservative maybe take on Taylor Swift, but a lot of leftists feel the same way about Taylor Swift because she's delved into political ideology and espoused her leftism to a certain degree, and she can't seem to hit the right mark because leftists are even calling her like a performative white feminist. Like, she doesn't even truly understand feminism from the perspective of being a white woman because she is in this position of power and complaining from that position of power when she truly doesn't understand the feminist struggle nor the struggle of people of color. So if you're Taylor Swift, you really can't win no matter what you do. Conservatives don't like an artist who's left-leaning, which is typical. And, the left-leaning people don't like Taylor Swift because she's a white woman and she's a billionaire. That sort of alienates you from that group of people. They don't think there is an ethical white woman, and they also don't think there is an ethical billionaire. So you're at a loss, my dude. I don't know what to tell you. But she continues to pull a crowd, and they scream F the patriarchy back at her during a song. And I mean, she had a star-studded crowd at her most recent Eras Tour stop. Tom Cruise was there, Mila Kunis was there, Ashton Kutcher was there, Phoebe Waller-Bridge was there, Andrew Scott was there. She was pulling, Greta Gerwig, Travis Kelce, all these people coming to see her. So her influence remains, no matter what this girl does. I don't know what Taylor Swift could say to get people to not watch her anymore, but so far she hasn't done it, and she remains in the headlines all the time. I don't know if she was deserving of it in this case. As I said, if you want to call out Taylor Swift for being a feminist, there are way better examples you can use than this throwaway F the patriarchy line in her songs. And yeah, if you want to accuse her of being a performative leftist, there are way better examples that you could use than this F the patriarchy line in this song. So I don't know, but Taylor Swift remains at top of mind, I guess, good for her.
It is really ironic with everything that you've said, but also in the sense that women in general, all the women in the stadium that are singing that song, are outpacing men in today's society on so many metrics, whether it's education and career.
Yeah.
So, is the patriarchy in the room with us right now, Taylor?
Dude, what are people gonna do? What are people gonna do when we finally reach not only full equality, which we've largely done, but like women are just outdoing men all the time now. You cannot scream F the patriarchy anymore. And it seems like even her fans and a little bit of Taylor Swift has kind of lost what I believe to be the initial meaning and interpretation of that lyric was. You'll have to let me know, because I'm not a Swiftie. If you guys are Swifties, let me know if I had that interpretation correctly. Because even in the music video that she has for All Too Well, it pretty clearly insinuates that like F the patriarchy is this sort of like throwaway thing that he claims to believe but doesn't. I don't know. That was just my interpretation. That's what I got from the lyrics. So I am just not sure why at all we are having this back and forth about Taylor Swift. But again, in a few weeks from now, something else will pop up that she did, and she'll sing a song that she wrote 10 years ago, and people will say, oh my gosh, there's this feminist lyric in this Taylor Swift song from 2014 and the crowd is singing it back at her. She's grooming young children. I don't know.